After my last video on LFP versus NMC batteries, my comment section turned into one of the most useful collections of real-world battery data I have seen in one place. Owners with 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles, even over 200,000 miles started sharing their actual capacity numbers. Not estimates, not projections, real battery health percentages from real cars being driven every day. I spent time going through all of it, cross-referencing it with what actually changed in Tesla's software and charging recommendations in 2026. And what I found was more interesting than I expected. Here is the full picture. Let me start with the real owner data because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. One comment that stuck with me came from an NMC owner with 216,000 miles and 88% capacity remaining. He had supercharged frequently for most of those miles, sometimes to 90%, occasionally pushing to 95%, and only recently lowering his charge limit to between 80% and 90%. That is an important data point because it tells you something the general advice does not always make clear. Even with frequent supercharging and higher than recommended charge limits, a well-built NMC pack can still hold 88% at that mileage. That is not an argument for ignoring charging advice. It is evidence that the underlying engineering is more robust than the fear content online would have you believe. On the LFP side, a 2023 base Model 3 owner at 56,000 miles shared that his full charge range was coming in at 260 miles against a rated range of 272. That is 96% capacity at 56,000 miles, which is exactly where a well-managed LFP battery should be. He has been charging to 100% regularly, which is the correct approach for LFP, and the numbers show it. What these two data points together tell us is that both chemistries, when managed reasonably, are holding up better at high mileage than the worst-case scenarios people worry about. The horror stories exist, but they almost always come with a clear explanation when you dig into the ownership history. Now, let me get into what actually changed in 2026, because there are a few things worth knowing that were not part of the conversation even a year ago. The biggest software change affects how Tesla's battery management system handles charge curve optimization for NMC batteries. The 2026 update introduced adaptive charge curve management, which means the system now learns from your individual battery's actual condition and adjusts the charging profile accordingly, rather than applying the same curve to every car, regardless of age or degradation. In practical terms, this means an NMC battery with 150,000 miles on it is now being charged with a profile that accounts for its actual current condition, rather than treating it like a new battery. Owners who updated to the latest 2026 software reported noticeably smoother charge curves, and in some cases, a small but measurable improvement in charging efficiency at higher states of charge. For LFP owners, the 2026 update refined the full charge recalibration recommendation. Tesla now recommends charging to 100% and leaving the car plugged in for at least 2 hours after reaching full charge, which allows the cell balancing process to complete fully. Owners who were charging to 100% and immediately unplugging were getting partial recalibration at best. The 2-hour window after reaching full charge is the part most LFP owners were missing, and it makes a meaningful difference in how accurately the system tracks your real capacity over time. Third, Tesla updated thermal management during supercharging for both chemistries in 2026, and this has practical implications for anyone who fast charges regularly. Previous software focused on keeping cell temperatures below a damage threshold. The 2026 update shifted to Predictive Thermal Management. Instead of reacting to heat as it builds, the system now pre-cools the battery more aggressively before and during the early phase of a supercharging session, keeping cell temperatures in a narrower optimal range throughout the entire session. For NMC owners, this means supercharging is measurably less stressful on the cells than it was on older software, particularly in warm weather. Real-world data from 2026 from NMC owners who supercharge regularly shows slightly better capacity retention compared to the same usage patterns on older software. Not dramatically better, but measurably better. Over hundreds of thousands of miles, that improvement adds up. For LFP owners, the Predictive Thermal Management Update matters most in cold weather. The previous reactive approach meant cold weather LFP supercharging sessions were often throttled significantly. The 2026 predictive approach starts warming the battery earlier and more precisely, which means cold weather supercharging speeds on LFP have improved noticeably. If you have an LFP battery and your supercharging speeds in winter felt frustratingly slow last year, updating to the latest 2026 software is the first thing you should do. Fourth, something the comment section made very clear. The gap between how NMC and LFP age in high-mileage commercial use is significantly larger than it is for typical private owners. Several owners described using their Teslas for rideshare, accumulating 60,000 to 100,000 miles per year with daily supercharging. The NMC owners in this group reported capacity in the 82% to 85% range at 150,000 miles, noticeably lower than the 88% to 90% a typical private NMC owner sees at the same mileage. The daily fast charging, combined with high-mileage highway driving, is a genuinely harder test for NMC chemistry. The LFP owners doing the same rideshare mileage reported better numbers, typically 87% to 89% capacity at 150,000 miles. The gap is meaningful, and it confirms what the chemistry data suggests. If you are buying a Tesla specifically for rideshare or any high-mileage commercial application, the 2026 real-world data from actual commercial drivers clearly supports choosing LFP over NMC if the range works for your routes. Fifth, an update on the battery recalibration question that generated a lot of confusion in the comments. The range estimate on your Tesla dashboard is not a direct readout of your battery health. It fluctuates based on recent driving efficiency, temperature, and how recently the system recalibrated. Two cars with identical actual battery health can show meaningfully different range estimates based purely on recent driving patterns. For NMC owners, the most accurate way to check real battery health is to charge to 100%. Let the car sit for 1 hour after reaching full charge, and then check the rated range shown. Compare that number to the original EPA-rated range for your specific model and year. The percentage difference is a reasonable approximation of your actual capacity retention. For LFP owners, the full charge recalibration process I described earlier, charging to 100% and staying plugged in for 2 hours, gives you the most accurate reading the system can provide. After that 2-hour window, the range shown at 100% is as close to your real capacity as you will get without specialized diagnostic equipment. Here is what the 2026 real-world data tells us when you put it all together. Both chemistries are holding up better at high mileage than the pessimistic predictions from a few years ago suggested. The 216,000-mile NMC at 88% and the 56,000-mile LFP at 96% are not outliers. They are representative of what properly managed batteries on both chemistries are actually doing in the real world. The 2026 software updates have made a genuine difference to how both chemistries handle fast charging and thermal management. And owners running current software are seeing better outcomes than those on older versions. The advice that has not changed is the same advice that has always separated the high-mileage success stories from the early degradation cases. Know which chemistry you have, manage it according to its specific needs, keep your software current, and pay attention to the habits that compound quietly over years. If you have real battery health numbers from your own Tesla, drop them in the comments. Give the model, the year, the chemistry, the mileage, and the capacity percentage. I want to keep building this real-world data set because the more numbers we collect from this audience, the more useful the next video on this topic is going to be. And if you want to be there when that comes out, hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one.